Hi there. Excuse me. Hi there, I'm Mr. Doyle, and this is a great undertaking. I'm still rocking the Dracula duds because today we will be discussing the 1987 film A Return to Salem's Lot as part of the Salem's Lot series. This movie is... It's really bad. Like, quite possibly the worst movie I've ever seen. And I've seen some shit. But that's good because it's hard to make a funny video about a good book or movie, but this movie is comedic gold. Everything about it is terrible, and that makes my job so much more enjoyable. There are 5 videos in the Salem's Lot series. The first was for the original 1975 novel by Stephen King, as well as the 2005 illustrated edition. One for each of the 2 made-for-TV 2-part series. God, you piece of shit. Stab you! Another for the short stories Jerusalem's Lot and One for the Road, which were included in the 1978 collection of short stories entitled Night Shift. And this video for the 1987 movie A Return to Salem's Lot, what many critics consider to be a steaming mound of soggy ass cheese. For this series, as a means of baiting unsuspecting viewers, I have hidden a clip of me having a steak pounded into my chest amongst the videos that comprise the Salem's Lot series. It's a real steak, no camera tricks, no faking. Just a guy having a steak rammed into his chest. I'm sure it will be fine and good.
Vlad joke.
What do redneck vampires drink? Blood Light. History and background. This movie was written, produced, and directed by Larry Cohen. That's right, it's Larry Cohen again. Larry has done some good things with Kong's... Whoops, the script auto-corrected to Kong. Larry Cohen has done some good things with Kong's work in the past. He wrote the screenplays for both the original and the 2013 versions of Carrie. Both decent movies. One very good. But he also did something that I still haven't managed to forgive him for, and that is being 1/3 responsible for Carrie the Musical, one of the greatest Broadway bombs of all time, and also one of the only musicals in history to feature a choreographed song and dance number about menstruation. Additional details about the film are few and far between, but here is what I had found. The movie was filmed in Vermont and saw a limited theatrical release in 1987, then was released on VHS not long after its disastrous theatrical run, which was mercifully brief. The jacket for the VHS release shows the terrifying figure. Oh my God, I can't talk. The jacket for the VHS release shows the terrifying figure of Kurt Barlow from the original film, the original 2-part TV miniseries. But Barlow is killed in the first film and is not in this movie at all. So, well, why would you put him on the cover? The movie was the feature film debut of Tara Reid and the final film for both June Havoc, cool name, and Andrew Duggan, who presumably died of embarrassment following the film's release. Critics tore this movie apart, and rightfully so. Here are some quotes that are thoroughly enjoyable, and I will most likely not get through without laughing. The Des Moines Register gave the film a 0-star rating, referring to it as a festival of bad acting, and quite possibly the most amateurishly made vampire movie in memory, adding, Return, in fact, plays like a movie made by people who've heard about how movies are made, but who have never seen one. Brutal. Jim Shembri of The Age noted that the film outstays its welcome after about 5 minutes. Honestly, those critics were far too kind. Is it by the book? Nope, it sure wasn't. This was based on dog shit. Cohen clearly saw a fresh pile of dog duke and was so inspired that he created a movie in its likeness. The fact that King actually wrote a sequel to Salem's Lot, the short story Jerusalem's Lot, which I cover in another video, and Lawrence Lair Bear Cohen thought he could write a better one is astounding, hilarious, and downright absurd. Good God, Larry, have you no decency, sir? King gave you the perfect plot for a screenplay, and you have the audacity, the nerve, to just go ahead and write your own? Who do you think you are, Larry? Nobody out-kings the king, Larry. Nobody! Because Return is a follow-up to the original Salem's Lot, the town is already populated with vamps at the beginning. So when our protagonists, Joe Weber and his a-hole kid arrive and everybody's like, oh hey, we're all vampires, but we don't drink human blood, just cow blood. They literally tell him this, but for some reason, they don't just leave. He's there with his son, and they have a car, and yet he's like, oh, I have no choice but to stay here and renovate this dilapidated old bungalow that was left to me by a deceased relative. He sees townspeople drinking blood straight from a dead cow, and his gut reaction is just to furrow his eyebrows. There were at least 2 instances in this movie where there's a setup or indication that a thing is going to be important, but nope, totally irrelevant and will not be resolved. Sorry, that would be a thing that happens in a good movie, which this is most certainly not. Vibe and tone. This movie is a mood. It is all of the vibes and of course the tones. It's got it all, folks. It's all that and a bag of turds. Come on down to the lot where we have something for everyone. That's right, this is a place for all your sporadic nonsense needs. You want native tribes murdering their own in a faraway jungle? Check! Crust punks bucking the system and sticking it to the man? Chickadee check! You in the market for some nearly passionless family drama? Oh, that is a big old Czechoslovakia, fam! If you've got a hankering for hot garbage, horror hijinks, sprinkled with a dash of father and son bonding and literally no artistic value, the lot has got a deal for you, so come on down to the lot, and we promise you'll never hate anything as much as you'll hate this. Soundtrack. The music during the opening credits is a bit corny, but it somehow works with the psychedelic vibe of the credits themselves. It reminds me of Mandy, and that is, in my humble opinion, never a bad thing. But this is the first and last good thing about this movie's soundtrack and the movie itself. There's a recurring MIDI harpsichord passage that shows up often that is a total ripoff of the Exorcist theme, and then there are some straight-up facts-of-life 80s sitcom musical moments that are plain laughable and not at all fitting to the scenes they are used in. At one point, they attempt to combine the faux Exorcist music with the upbeat sitcom soundtrack, but they legit don't even try to make it work. They just took 2 different songs with completely different time signatures and beats per minute and keys and slap them over top of each other. It's a frickin' MIDI mishmash of happy-go-lucky smothered in mildly sinister suck sauce. The hell are you doing? In one of my earlier videos, I commented on how the 80s was like the worst time for music, and frankly, this soundtrack is the embodiment of that sentiment. Suck it, the entire decade of the 80s. I don't care if that's when I was born. I would sacrifice myself if it meant doing away with that 10-year period of misguided musical mumbo jumbo, or just specifically to erase this film from existence. Cast and acting. My mama taught me that if you don't have anything nice to say, it's best to keep your mouth shut. But that's no fun, now is it? So honestly, the acting isn't all bad, but the bad far outweighs the good. Oh, okay, it is all bad. It's just the worst. If there was an Academy Award category entitled Historically Worst Performance, everyone in the movie would win annually until the end of time. Special effects, sound, editing, and cinematography. The makeup and creature effects in this movie are surprisingly incredible. I was blown away by how visually astounding this production was. This film is actually on par with the likes of John Carpenter's The Thing, and is genuinely impressive for the limited budget. It's truly a masterwork. It's a masterwork. Okay, I couldn't get through that last sentence. This movie makes the original Salem's Lot look like a goddamn J.J. Abrams multi-million-dollar blockbuster. It is so bad that sometimes there is no makeup or effects at all. They legitimately don't even try to make most of the vamps look like vamps. No makeup, nothing, just normal-ass people sucking blood from cows and shit. The few times they actually try for creature effects and elaborate makeup, we understand why they chose to mostly go without. Throughout the film, there is this creature that looks like Lubdan, the leprechaun from the Leprechaun movies. It's like that guy fathered a child with a rat, and then the child was exposed to high levels of radiation. Only that description makes it sound kind of cool and freaky, which I assure you it isn't. But nothing ever comes of it. This goofy little dude lurks in the shadows throughout the film, and then the movie is over. What was the point of this character? What was the point of anything? The sound, editing, and cinematography also suck butts. Just a whole bunch of butt suckery going on in every facet of this movie. Final thoughts. If you're ever having a bad day and you need a pick-me-up, watch this movie. It'll make you feel so much better about yourself, and any mistakes you've made throughout your life will seem insignificant by comparison. Actually, it could potentially have the opposite effect and drive you to leap from the highest available building just to make it stop. So maybe skip it. It's the worst. I paused this movie so many times because it was so hard to get through it, but I did it, and I did it so you wouldn't have to. So take my word for it. This movie is a nightmare, and not at all in the good sense of the word. What the f***, Larry? Alright, I've trash-talked this movie enough for now. Check out the next video in which I discuss the 2004 remake of the two-part series, Salem's Lot. It was... I've got high expectations for this one, which is admittedly unwise and will likely lead only to disappointment. Okay, goodbye. Be sure to click like and subscribe to the channel for my continued analysis of all things Stephen King, pretty please with blood and guts on top. My name is Mr. Doyle, and this has been a great undertaking.